How much money are you actually going to lose? Now, I think many people go into owning a caravan not knowing that this is not a financial investment. I think people look at caravans being like houses and they think, oh, if I buy it for 60 grand, it's worth 60 grand. Well, it's not. It's more like owning a car, right? The only thing that's ever going to have happen if you put money into a caravan is it's going to depreciate and you're going to lose your money. Before you even think about buying a caravan, you must realise that you're losing your money. But as long as you've got that into your head, you're going to be alright. And it's not much different to owning a car. If you spent money on a car today that were worth 40 grand, you know in 5 years' time you'll be lucky if it's worth 15. Now that's very similar to a caravan, but there is some differences. There is some differences, and you will probably lose money whether you own the caravan for 1 month or 10 years. Let me explain why you're going to lose money. If you go on to any of the major caravan sites, whether the Willoughby, Swift, whatever, and you find a brand new caravan, it will tell you what the recommended retail price is. But odds on, you're not going to pay that. I'll give it a perfect example. Now, the caravan we've recently got is a Swift Bordeaux. Now, that caravan on their website, now I can't remember exactly, so don't quote me on this, retails at something like, depending on the spec, about £54,000. But when I was doing some research on Swift Bordeaux for sale that are brand new, they were for sale across the country, anywhere from 55 all the way up to £90,000. And the reason for this is because of the park. Because certain parks can command more money because people want to be on that park. So our park, it's a little bit less because we're a smaller site and maybe people don't want to be on this site. It ain't got the prestige as what other sites have got. Whereas on the Lake District, that caravan were 90,000. Say you bought that caravan in the Lake District for £90,000. Now, odds on, when you come to then sell it, say a year down the line, you think, oh, I don't want it, it's not what I expected, I don't use it, whatever the excuse, reason might be, and you think, I'm going to sell it, there is no chance you're going to get 90 grand back. Because you've got to think on, it's not actually worth 90 grand. Yes, it will worth 90 grand to you, but it's not worth 90 grand to the site, and here's why. Because if that site wanted to buy a brand new one of them, they could buy it direct from the manufacturers for a fraction of that. So if the recommended retail price is 55 grand, the probability is that they've bought it from the manufacturers for maybe 30 grand. So your 90 grand caravan is realistically probably only worth 30 grand. Now, given the fact that it's now a year old and it's second hand, knock maybe 5 grand off that, and in actual fact, a 90 grand caravan, you'll be lucky if you get 25 grand back. Now, I did bring this up with some sales guys, and they pointed out that on a prestige site, they'll probably hold the value a little bit better, right? Now, I don't know if I agree with that. Now, I could understand if it's a lodge, or if it's not going to get moved, but quite often caravans get moved about, especially on big sites like Parkdean or Haven. They move them about to other sites, and they've got like a pool of stock where they can buy caravans from other places and then sell them on theirs. So realistically, that 90 grand is only really worth 25, and that's if it's more or less brand new. Now then you've got to take into depreciation costs, so it might be a case of that every year after that it loses a grand or two. So then if you hold on to it for 10 years, don't be surprised if your 90 grand caravan is suddenly worth only 10 or 15,000, because that is the reality of it, right? That you you've got to expect that. I've heard of people buying caravans and they might have paid 40 grand for it, and then a year later they're kicking off because they're only being offered 13. Now, I get that. I get why people get emotional. Right? I get why people are happy with it. But it's business, isn't it? And if you bought a brand new car and then a year later dealer said, oh, it's only worth X amount, you'd have to accept it. And it's exactly the same with a caravan. It's like having a car. And after 20 years, you're probably not going to keep that car. Same with a caravan. After 20 years, yes, some people manage to keep them for maybe 30 years if they're well kept and they're on a site that lets you keep them as long as you like. But most sites only let you keep them for 20 years. And after 20 years, they're basically scrap, right? So buying a caravan is the worst financial investment you can make. However, it is a great investment into your own family and well-being. Because you might think, well, hold on, why are all these people, if it's such a bad idea to spend money on a caravan, still buying them? What's the crack with that then? Well, it's simple. People love caravans, right? They enjoy the time in the caravan. You will often hear people referring to their caravan as their happy place. It is a place where you're making memories. So it's not a financial investment. It's an investment into family time, investment into friends, an investment into just happy memories and relaxation and having a little bolt hold away from your house and your work and all the other stresses of life that you can just go to and at that weekend kick back, relax, and just basically chill out. And that is why having a caravan is a bad financial investment, but it's also a great investment into your own personal, emotional well-being for you and your family. I hope you've enjoyed this. Now, I've just told you how it's a bad financial idea, a bad financial investment. But if you'd like to learn more about the cost of owning a caravan, please check out this video now and we'll break down the cost of owning a caravan.